Good afternoon. My name is Donna Cooper, and I'm the Executive Director of Children First. And we're so proud to be here out on the steps of the great Delaware County Courthouse in Media, Pennsylvania, celebrating something that has its roots here but affects children statewide. And the reason I say it has the roots here is we are here today to recognize the extraordinary leadership of Speaker Joanna McClinton, who stepped forward a year ago and said, we as a state must do more to end childhood lead poisoning. And yes, thousands of children in Pennsylvania are poisoned by lead every year. And right here in Delaware County, where the speaker is from, 250 children are known to have been poisoned by lead last year, but we only test 20% of the kids. So when you think about that, there's easily 1,000 children in this county who could be poisoned by lead every year. And that's more people in this county than are hospitalized annually for heart attacks. Put that in your head. Far too many children are being exposed to lead, causing permanent damage and robbing their futures. And thank God that Speaker Joanna McClinton stepped forward and said we have to do something about this. And she didn't just talk about it, she made sure there was funds on the table so that homeowners and landlords in communities with the highest rates of lead poisoning had the resources to get the lead out of apartments and homes. There is a cure for lead poisoning, and that is getting the lead out of our homes. It is my honor to be here today to thank Speaker McClinton for the $10 million that she made sure was allocated with the support of her fellow Democrats. We call on every member of the state legislature to follow in the steps of Speaker McClinton and do much more to ensure children are protected from the permanent impact of lead poisoning. But today, it is the thank you to Speaker McClinton that brings us here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Donna. We appreciate your advocacy. Donna's in the Capitol more than the state representatives because she's making sure. She's making sure that all of my colleagues in the Senate and in the House know what's important. And I'm here today because on behalf of my community in the 191st Legislative District in Darby Borough and Gated Borough, we too have aging infrastructure and housing. Most of the houses were built more than 50 years ago. So that means that when babies are brought home from the hospital, they may be in danger and being exposed to lead paint, which we know causes brain injuries and so many other and we want to save these children from these experiences and preserve their health and well-being. So I am grateful on behalf of all of the colleagues that I work with, Representative Lisa Borowski right here, Representative Leanne Kruger, Representative David Deloso, Representative Jennifer O'Mara, Representative Gina Curry, Representative Regina Young, our Delaware County delegation in the Pennsylvania House. We brought this $10 million today to present to the borough, to the county, to make sure that the remediation happens. So with that, Dr. Monica Taylor, let's do the check presentation.
Everyone, start. Do you want to get a still of them on the camera? You good? Brian, did you get yours? And everyone look at Ryan, please.
Look right here.
I'm all good.
You good, Ryan? Can everyone look here real quick?
Brian, don't get up. Thank you.
Okay, and please, sorry. Thanks.
Thank you, Speaker McClinton. Thank you, Children's First, and thank you to our delegation for your advocacy, your dedication, and your work to pull this across the finish line to bring this funding to Delaware County and to the children of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. I also want to thank Phil Welsh, Director of Delaware County's Office of Housing and Community Development, and his team for their ongoing work to address lead contamination here in Delaware County through the Lead Hazard Reduction Program, which helps homeowners, renters, and landlords improve the safety apartments by testing and remediating lead paint contamination. And I would be remiss not to thank our Delaware County Health Department for their efforts to address lead toxicity, coordinating with the Delco Early Intervention Services to increase lead testing of children, and to educate residents regarding available resources in the county to address issues of health and household remediation. The work to address lead contamination and its health effects continues each and every day in Delaware County. As Speaker McClinton mentioned, there are some scary numbers on lead contamination and childhood lead poisoning across Pennsylvania. And the numbers here in Delaware County are sadly not better. But before I mention some of those numbers, let me start by saying childhood lead poisoning is 100% preventable. We know how to deal with toxic lead. It's just a matter of securing resources to do the work necessary to fully protect children in their homes from toxic lead. In Delaware County, lead-based paint hazards in residential homes and apartments are the main source of lead poisoning. Delaware County has an older housing stock relative to most counties. Roughly 80% of residential properties in Delaware County were built before 1980. And roughly 4 out of 5 homes in Delaware County have lead paint. Not surprisingly, Delaware County has the 5th highest number of children poisoned in the county. An estimated 250 children are poisoned every year in Delaware County. That's enough to fill 12 preschool classrooms. And only 20% of children are even tested for lead poisoning. So the real number is likely much higher. So that's the bad news here in Delaware County. The good news? We continue to make progress. Resources matter, money matters. The funding that Speaker McClinton has helped secure for Delaware County will make a difference in remediating lead in homes across the country. It will make immediate impact for the children and families living in those homes. And the downstream impact of the work done with this funding will affect generations of Delaware County residents. Speaker McClinton, on behalf of Delaware County, thank you and Children's First for your hard work, advocacy, and your dedication to securing this funding to address lead poisoning across the entire Commonwealth. I would now like to introduce Director Welch to discuss the lead hazard reduction program. Thank you.
Good afternoon. First, I'd also like to thank Speaker McClinton for advocating for a portion of this funding to be dedicated to Delaware County, and Chair Taylor and members of County Council for continuing to support efforts to provide lead-free homes in Delaware County. In 2020, the county was successful in securing a $1 million grant from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development for the abatement of lead paint hazards in 35 residents with children under the age of 6. Since securing the funding, we have received over 100 applications for this program and been able to provide lead abatement in 31 residences, including 4 apartment buildings, which have been made lead-free. We also have an additional 5 units that we are currently abating, which will exceed the goal of 35 units in 2020. The establishment of the County Health Department has led to an increase in referrals to this program to remediate lead hazards in homes with children that have received test results showing an elevated blood lead level. Over the past year, these referrals have ensured that 7 households, including 19 children, are now free of lead hazards. The additional funding provided through Speaker McClinton and Pennsylvania House will allow this program to continue for at least another 2 years and remediate lead hazards throughout the county. Any homeowners or landlords that suspect they may have lead paint hazards are encouraged to call the County Office of Housing and Community Development at 610-891-5425 to see if they are eligible for testing in the program. And now I'd like to introduce Rosemary Hall, Interim Executive Director of Children's First, to discuss the hazards.
Hi, good afternoon. The Delaware County Lead Prevention Coalition created an action plan to work towards eliminating lead in homes, getting all children tested for lead,
making connections to services, including early intervention services. Recently, East Lansdowne and the City of Chester passed lead-free poisoning prevention and lead hazard control ordinances, requiring lead paint inspections and testing of rented properties and property transfers. Municipalities play a powerful role in protecting our children from lead paint hazards, and we encourage more municipalities to pass similar ordinances. Again, thanks to Speaker McClinton, more money will be available in our county and state to continue the needed programs to help landlords and homeowners comply with the ordinances. Before we depart today, I wanted to share some quotes from parents on the importance of lead remediation programs are to the families of Delaware County. Marita escaped a domestic abuse situation and lived temporarily in a homeless shelter, but got back on her feet and purchased her first home. She was worried about lead in the home, and her autistic son, who has sensory issues, puts everything in his mouth. She found out about the Delaware County Lead Remediation Program and worked with them to make her home lead safe for her family. She is very grateful that this program is available and highly recommends it. Tamar has a 2-year-old child who was tested positive for lead. Her older home had multiple sources of lead that they were unaware of. Her child has speech issues and communication issues as a result of lead poisoning. Tamar had to learn sign language to try to communicate with her child. She was grateful to have her home made lead safe, but she was also upset that her child suffered from lead poisoning that could have been prevented. These are just a few of the examples of why we need to continue to educate families on the importance of having children tested for lead and to have homes made safe for all children. Thank you so much for joining us